All right, welcome everybody to the Oakdale Park and Recs Commission meeting on September 15th, 2020. We'll do a roll call. It appears everyone is here. Hey, Jeff. And we'll do a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, did everyone get a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone got questions, comments, concerns? And I'm just looking for a motion to approve.
I approve.
Motion? Then I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Clean, you are up.
Good evening, you guys. Nice to see everyone. I don't have a lot tonight. We just had the tree board meeting prior to this, and a couple things came up that we're still going to look into. One was the goat grazing that we talked about. Lauren is going to try to get a company to come in and do a presentation on it because we don't know enough about it. So we're going to see if we can get that done before the year end, just to get an idea what it would be. And maybe we trial it in a hard to get at Buckthorn area, you know, because that would probably be the best place to use the goats anyway. So anyway, that's moving forward just to get some more information at this point. And we also talked about how we can make it work to do the Arbor Day tree giveaway. You know, we just started the discussion. They'll be talking about it more in January, but like maybe have slot times people to sign up and only have so many cars and do like a parade where so many people come during this time frame and they have to register for which tree they want, and then they come and get it, and then, I mean, they just keep it moving. So that's an idea. We're trying to make it work, but of course, all this is so preliminary, and it all depends on how the year goes. So nothing's guaranteed, but yeah, we're trying to make it work if we can. So
Actually, I think that sounds better because you always had to take a number and
Yes.
wait an hour or so and
yeah,
come
so
back. Yeah.
but we're thinking about that's
Yeah.
what a few of us proposed to do. So
Yeah.
anyway, we're looking into that more. I'll stand for any questions anyone else has of council.
On any topic?
Yeah,
About the farmer's market hours, are they?
they are changing for next year.
Well, we have a workshop at the
Okay.
end of the season, middle of October, and then I will bring the results to the council regarding the survey that the Recreation Department did. So at that time, we will be discussing that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was told that was changing, so
Oh,
that's.
okay.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, well, I take it back, we'll wait till Julie's information and survey stuff, so we'll reserve it to then, and that'll be in
I just-
October?
Yeah,
I just think
mid-October.
of next year when we have the concerts again, people,
Yep.
finishing up at
Yep.
6:30, could maybe get their food at the food trucks
Yep.
and then
Yep,
go over.
yep,
Yep, I know.
yep, okay,
That will all be discussed, yeah.
yep,
Okay.
so, anything else? Brian has a lot to discuss, and I'm sure Jeff has a lot to discuss, so.
Okay.
Jenny, did you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. All right, I'll let it go. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Colleen.
Thank you.
All right, Brian, we're going to skip over the park tour schedule and go to you, and then we'll go back to the park tour.
Good evening, commission members. First item is a discussion on some improvements down at Tanner's Ball Field. Continuing to work with the OAA on improvements down there. Earlier this summer, we completed some fencing repairs due to some heaving down there. The next phase is to look at some drainage improvements behind the backstop. And I think the final thing later would probably be looking at some dugouts. But at this point, we have met with the OAA and we talked to a contractor as well, and we laid out a drain tile project that would collect the drainage behind the backstop in locations that will be conducive to the future dugouts on either side. So there'll be 3 inlets and then 2 elbows that go around the back of the backstop. There's very little grade to work with. There'll probably be about 2 feet of cover on the very north end of the project, and then getting to be slightly more as it goes through behind the backstop, and then ties into an existing catch basin that exists south of the service drive down to the boat launch. What we're looking for tonight is a favorable recommendation from the Park Commission so that we can go to the council to get approval to proceed with the project. Again, in cooperation with the OA, they will be financing the project. With that, I'd stand for any questions the commission may have.
By the drawing that was sent out, so they're not going to end up hitting any of those cement pads then?
No,
So they'll be right on the backside of those?
right,
Nice.
right. And what we did is we'll set them, to the right side of the south dugout and to the left of the east dugout, so that it'll be where the benches are. The drainage won't have to go around the dugouts to grade out.
Will we, given the size of the dugouts, which we don't know yet, and I got to work with Jeff on, will we be able to extend that slab over?
The leg that goes to the north, yes,
Okay,
if necessary.
okay.
Now, there is some irrigation in that area, so there's going to be some field adjustments. We don't have any record drawings showing exactly where the irrigation system is. So the contractor that we're working with also does irrigation work and repair, so we'll be capable of making any repairs as we go along, making some changes if things need to be moved slightly to make it work.
I think when we get to the backstop portion, we'll have to just look at the pad if it's big enough, or we have to extend it a little bit for the new dugouts. Yeah, I know, that's what I was,
Yeah,
we'll have to try and measure that up a little closer and work with that company that we had looked at. So, all right. And that project was going to be 7,700 approximately.
yes.
All right, so then we just need a motion to recommend the upgrade drainage tile to Berth Field.
I'll make that
The
motion.
council. Motion by Jen, second.
I'll second it.
Glenn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
The next item I have is to start discussions on updating our capital improvement program, which is generally a 5-year program. First, I'd like to start by talking about the improvements that we did get completed this year. The hockey rink has been resurfaced. They're in kind of the final stages of restoration over there. Starting on Thursday, the fencing contractor will start working on the Walton Ball Field complex, removing the baseline fencing. That'll probably take about 2 weeks for the removal and reinstallation of fencing. And then the paving contractor will be moving in and doing kind of the balance of the pavement removals and paving that area. So all the work, I think our schedule was to have everything completed by the middle of October. So that project is moving forward. I know the Parks crew today did move some of the bleachers that are in the area, so they're starting to make room for the contractor. I think tonight is the last night of league play over there for the adult softball, so after this evening, we'll be able to move into the full project. The other project that was under consideration this year was installing the swing set at Tilson Park, and the Parks crew, under Jeff's direction, did start installing the border that goes around it, grading it and installing the border. He's now working with Minnesota Playground to schedule the installation of the swing set and the wood chips that'll be going in there. And so that's all work that'll be completed within the next few weeks.
Nice.
The one other item that we had in our CIP last fall, but I think there was follow-up discussion at the workshops with the councils in regards to the warming houses. And as I understood the direction, we're going to postpone any permanent warming house and for the next year or so, work with some temporary warming houses to see how that works, both at Walton and at Eastside Park. So Jeff is making those arrangements as well for those temporary warming houses.
Did we have a temporary one at East Side last year?
No.
Okay.
Just looking at updating the capital improvement program for this coming year in 2021, we had anticipated doing some parking lot improvements at Everly and at Tanner's Park. But there has been a discussion at the council level about funding those park paving projects with park dedication funds, the park reserve funds, as opposed to geo bonding, which is something we've been doing for the last several years. So that's a significant change in how we finance those parking lot improvements. And it's going to be my suggestion tonight that we look at postponing the two parking lot paving projects we had identified. I know our street crew has been doing a nice job with the patching on both of those parking lots, and they seem to be, I think, in sufficient condition that we can at least buy a little bit more time before we get into replacing those parking lots at both Eberly and at Tanner's. So that's one thing I was going to suggest this evening.
Are we postponing just for the funds factor?
That would be part of it. It'll give us an opportunity to consider other park improvements as opposed to just paving two parking lots. That's basically what would have happened based on where we're currently at with the fund and the projected revenues. Just a couple of other things I wanted to comment on. I know at the last meeting it was brought up to consider a batting cage. I've since talked to Jeff about that, and we did have at one time a batting cage at Goose Pond Park. I guess it's been removed even prior to when Jeff,
Yeah, I heard it was out
removed
there quite a
before
while
then.
ago.
But he had mentioned, since that time, we've installed irrigation systems on that park, and so there are mains and valves in that general location where the old batting cage was. And so if we wanted to consider a batting cage, we'd be putting concrete slabs over existing irrigation lines, which is not a good practice. And he's also suggesting that we look at putting AstroTurf instead of natural turf in those areas. And obviously, you're going to need power to it as well, too, for the pitching equipment. So those are all things that we're going to have to take into consideration if we start looking at alternative sites to try to locate a batting cage.
Is there other options to relocate it on that property? We went to the west side.
We put in the irrigation system 9 years ago, when they redid the park. Yep. And the valves run all the way along the path and all the way along the parking lot. And every zones go right to each end. So you'd have to reconfigure that, but you never break, and you got that concrete and that's sitting there. I've never had a caller request for a batting cage, so
Yeah,
I've
apparently,
never heard of it.
apparently Kevin did. And I know we've worked with the schools to help improve their batting cages.
There's one at Oakdale
But I think that might be disappearing.
Elementary, so it's been dilapidated for, I asked the school district to maintain it, they won't.
Right.
They
We,
say it's ours, it's not ours, we don't own it. So,
I know we put a new net in it. I believe it was this year, or it might have been at the end of last year. But for the actual structure itself, I'm not aware. But I think that's all going away anyways in the next year or two.
I don't know. Yeah, that's correct.
So we'd have to probably try and, if the push is really there at another park, and then I don't know if we'd have to go.
Is there any other park that you can think of that would hold the batting cage?
This is so filled here that
Right.
What about, I was just thinking about this on the drive-in, in between the ball fields on 1 through 4, you have the grass areas in the pinwheel. Is that enough room in there?
it's all mains and wells and
Okay.
a lot of irrigation in there.
All right.
They still have the high school. They
Yeah,
can
but
use
that's
those.
restricted
Well-
to the public.
No,
and
not
so-
really, because we've worked that out when we allotted the money for that.
For OA to get
OAA,
in.
we gave them the nets and redone that. And
But they padlocked that thing, so.
yeah, but they can be reserved in the off-season. I talked to Kurt about that.
Okay.
So that's something we might have to,
That was the
Go
concern
through.
the person had that talked to Kevin, that if you put it on a school, there's an issue with getting accessibility for people.
yeah. But that's something we can discuss with them too, because that was an OAA project also. So, yeah, you look at that.
But that's the one that's not working right now, right?
No, it's up and running, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right behind the varsity field, or between the varsity field and the softball field. I believe there's 2 in there?
There is too.
Yeah. So yeah, as long as the public can get access, then that'd be different. And the maintenance side of it's kind of covered too, so.
Well, we can do some additional research, contact Mr. Russell and just see what the opportunities are there,
Right.
and get back to you on that
Maybe
as well.
Russell or Munter.
Yeah.
Munter.
Well, I suppose you gotta talk to Munter. but
Mhm.
Russell was running it. but Yeah, either one.
Yep. So just some other staff suggestions. Jeff and I were brainstorming a little bit on other park projects that we could consider, now that we're talking about going out another year in the CIP, adding another year, 2025, to the program. So some of the things that were discussed, Guthrie Park, the picnic shelter there, has asphalt shingle roofs. It's very old, poor condition. We've been trying to migrate to putting metal roofs on all our shelters. I think that's probably one of the last ones with an asphalt, in addition to the ones at Walton Park that we've already got on our CIP list. But that would be an additional item. Another item that was suggested is the tot lot at Tanner's Park is getting to that similar vintage to the Oakfield Park playground equipment that we just replaced. So the parts are becoming a little bit more difficult to find when we have broken parts. So it's something to, within the next 5 years, to try to get into our list. Also, another item is the Willowbrook development now has received council approval from preliminary plat and final plat on a portion of it. So that area will start to develop over the next year. So it is appropriate to start park planning. So we should provide some funding for some studies, some consultants that we can work with on planning the parks within the Willowbrook development. And the one other suggestion I was going to make is we did have repaving of the Oakdale Park trails in the CIP a couple of years down. I think it was 2023. I will say the south portion of the Oakdale Park trails from Granada Avenue over to the Discovery Center, the south loop, is showing a lot of distress. There's a lot of cracked up, broken asphalt down on that path. So instead of trying to repave all the paths in the park at one time, maybe we should look at phasing the paving and doing 1 quarter at a time. So that would allow us to do that stretch, the southern stretch should be the first phase, and do the other phases further on down the line.
Are you saying to move that up somewhere, or
Yes, I'm thinking we may want to consider doing that in next year, as early as next year. What I will hand out, I think I had mentioned an update in the projections, the revenue projections for,
Can I ask, how long does repaving take? Like, how long would that section or all of the trail be unusable for folks while that was getting taken care
while
of?
they were paving it, how long would it be unusable? Probably about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we're looking at moving the resurfacing that Eberly and Tanner's. What year are you looking to move that out to?
I would suggest we can put that out at least 3 to 4 years,
Oh,
so push that back.
so maybe put that in the 2025?
Yes.
Or suggest?
Yes. And then, as I mentioned, the Oakdale Park Trail, the south leg, I would look at, I'll suggest considering that as a 2021 project. If you do the park trail paving that I just mentioned, the roofing in Guthrie Park and the kitchens and the park plan, those 4 items, I guess it would probably be around $200,000, which when you look at the revenue, that's generally about what we
Got an extra
collect a
100.
year, and so it would kind of balance the expenditures with the revenue. Must have handed out every copy I had.
So we have the Oakdale Park repaving the trail at 450.
Right.
I'm assuming since we're gonna do it in parts, it's gonna be,
1 quarter, so, say 100,000 per year, that kind of thing, maybe just slightly more than 100,000. And then the roofing at Guthrie, I know we estimated about 30,000 for the other shelters, so estimating 30,000 for that shelter. And then the kitchens, I don't know, there's 2 kitchens there, probably estimate 10,000 a kitchen to remodel.
there's,
Yeah,
yeah, those are 3 roofs, right? Because you have the main one
Yeah.
where the kitchen is, and then you got the one on the back side, and then one to the east. So that'd be,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
Yep.
gotcha.
yeah,
For a total of what?
3 roofs, right?
yeah. So we did have the roofs in the CIP before, the Walton roofs anyway.
Or was that for the ball
It's in
field?
2023.
Yeah,
Yes, the Oakdale Park.
Yeah.
Oh, the 3 roofs, yeah, right there, 2023.
2023,
yep.
and you're moving that up.
That one, actually, I was gonna leave. So what I was looking for is projects that would total about $200,000, and what I was seeing was the Oakdale Park Trail, if we did that first phase, the roofing at Guthrie, the kitchens at Walton, and then providing 50,000 for park planning purposes in Willowbrook. That total would be about $200,000.
All right, so we're looking at moving the trail up quarterly,
Quarter.
starting in 2021.
Right.
The resurfacing at Beverly and Tanner's to 2025, and then put in 2021, the re-roofing.
Yes,
And then the tot lot at Tanner's is waiting.
possibly at 2022. Do that as a 2022 project. We'll have to look at what we had in 2022 was the resurfacing of the skate park. We can certainly evaluate that again. And then the Walton Ball Field upgrading to LED, obviously a project that's going to require some funding.
And then in 2022, the Brockman property, I mean, is that definitely going to happen then, or that's just put in there in case we get the opportunity?
It's-
Right, just to keep it in our program so that if that opportunity presents itself, if you look, the funding source for that,
But that would come from the park and rec.
right, that would be funded either out of the park tool escrow or the open space
Okay.
funding source. So that does not affect your park planning, it's just part of the, identifying it as a need and something that if
A
we see the
reminder.
opportunity that we're able to
Yeah.
move on it. So I don't know if you have any other suggestions, but at our next meeting in October, I was going to reflect these suggested changes and put it into the 5-year program and then seek your comments and approval, recommendation for the council meeting.
Well, when we toured Elberly parking lot last year in the trail, it didn't look, I mean, the trail looked like it could use some work, but the parking lot
Yeah.
didn't seem that.
Well, I just rode through there, and they have patched it, so
Yes.
it looks
Yeah, that's
like that definitely,
Yeah, on the very west end, they did a lot of patching there. And I think they did it, and it's going to hold up for several years, a few years, so.
So you guys good with moving those to 2025?
yeah.
We need to make a motion on those? I don't think so,
Not,
do we?
just as we have the conversation, this will be reflected at our next meeting,
Okay,
so you'll be able to,
so we're good with moving the repaving of Everly and Tanner's to 2025,
Okay,
And what are your guys' thoughts on the roofing for Walton, VFW,
The Lions Park?
the Lions Club, yeah?
Um,
If I remember right, those shingles are looking pretty rough, aren't they, Jeff? Yeah.
yeah. there's
Yeah,
three of
so he's
them,
got it in there at
probably
90,000, yeah.
So you want to move those up?
We want to move those to 2021. Are you guys good with that?
Yep.
Would that be all of them?
No, that would just be the Walton
Okay,
Okay,
complex in the center
okay.
right now. We'll move that one up to 2021. And then the repaving of the Oak Park Trail, doing sections at a time, which will bring that 450 down to 100,000 a year, approximately.
112?
Hmm?
112?
Yeah. You guys good with that one too?
Mm-hmm,
2021,
yep.
all right. And then I guess if we got to find funding for the, did we move enough to get funding for the Guthrie and the Lions Clubs already done?
Well, so I thought Brian was saying still do the Walton in 2023, but do Guthrie and the Walton line and the kitchens in
That's the-
2021.
That's the shelter, right? The one when you're talking about the kitchen?
yeah.
Or was I
Remodeling the kitchen at
misunderstanding?
Walton Lions Shelter, I think is the same thing as the Walton Shelter on the 2023.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood.
Yep.
So re-roofing the Walton shelters would still remain in 2023, or that moves up?
No, I think Brian wants to move that to 2021.
The kitchens we'd like to do in 2021,
Okay,
I would like to see them right there in
Yeah.
not good shape.
yeah.
That's our signature park, them shelters are used, they're rented.
No, I get it.
They would really,
Oh, I know,
Benefit
I
from
seen it actually this last week.
they're
so-
used every weekend all summer long, yeah.
Mhm.
You upgrade them, they're the original, basically the original, other than the fridges are in there. Could even look at raising the rates, maybe bringing a little more revenue if we did that, so.
it's a good idea.
No, yeah, and then those are the last two roofs, right? The Walton and then Guthrie?
Yes.
Then everything's tin,
Yep,
so I'm good with that.
Okay.
You guys good with moving the roofing,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
2021? And then the only one, do we have enough funds then to do Guthrie in 2021, or are you looking to move that in 2022?
that'll probably go to 2022.
I think with those three, we're getting close to.
Yeah, along with the Tanner's playground equipment 2022.
Does that all work back into the budget that we have?
So, yeah, I'll take a look at that, and I think I gave you the, kind of the existing balance that we have, the revenue projections and the expenditures. And I know at 200,000, we were kind of balancing the revenues with the expenditures. If we go over, what was the existing balance? Is it close to 300,000? The current balance, end of the year balance as of, so anything over 200,000, we're going to be drawing down that balance. But I don't think you're going to exceed it over the next few years.
All right.
And Brian, with the lighting, where is that, where will that be at?
Well, I think we're going to leave that in the
2022?
2022, and we're going to have to look at how we're going to fund that. If there's any state grant opportunities or something that we can look for.
So that skate park is the skateboard?
Yeah, that
Complex.
is another one, we'll reevaluate that too, and just,
Brian, can we budget for the signs to be updated?
We did have that discussion back, was it last summer, that gal came in and talked about, because
It comes up, and it's coming
Comes
up.
up.
the verbiage is
And I
different.
bought the park.
Right. Yeah, it's,
I think
there's,
you were saying they're about 5,000 per sign.
I think when
They're expensive.
we
but
looked
the
at it, I
same
think they were
time-
about 3,000 and there's 4 of them, so it's $12,000 to replace.
Anywhere between 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Is that something that we could maybe do one a year?
Is that confusing?
A thought, huh?
Well, we have 15,000 in this general park development that used to be called.
Park Without Borders.
Park Without Borders.
And really, we should probably have another
Yeah.
15 in there from what we didn't use
But
in
I-
2019.
Did we already use the 15,000 for 2020 with the
The swing
Tilson
set?
swing set, or is that from 2019?
The finance department is reflecting it as an expenditure in 2020, so the 15,000 is showing 2020. Obviously, we didn't spend it in 2019, so it's reflected in the balance forward.
Okay,
So the 15,000 that wasn't spent in 2019 is in the balance forward.
so then that wouldn't be
But
able
we
to,
had it for, it was scheduled for 2021 to have 15 already
Yes,
in there.
yes.
So it should be.
If you want to, yeah.
we want to do it
you're
for
correct.
2021.
We do have, you know, we generally try to have 15,000 a year for Park Without Borders. And really what that is for, if something comes up that was not anticipated, we have the opportunity to respond rather quickly. You know, if there's a request like the Tilson swing set, you know, we were able to move that.
I don't know
So,
if I'd be more cautious to hold on to that 15,000 in case we have another request like that, or, and then try and put in a CIP.
Should be 30,000 there.
No, because we used,
I had it already budgeted for 2021 to have 15,000, okay? That was already budgeted for 2021. We didn't use the one for 2019, so
Right.
you should put the two together, that would be 30.
yeah. It's in the balance forward, so.
okay,
But,
so then we do have room.
yeah. We can certainly reflect that as well.
And there was how many of them? 5?
4.
4?
There's 4 signs, so 12 to 15,000.
Oh, okay.
As a 2021 project or 2022?
I would say 2021,
Okay,
get it behind us, and
all right.
I'd
you
agree.
guys good with 2021 on the signs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I can make those changes and we'll have them for your consideration at the next park commission meeting.
And then once we make those revisions, you'll send out a new CIP?
Yes,
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
It's all doctored up now. All right, so now we go on to park tours. I sent out an email, I think it was last week or the week before, of some dates to do a park tour. And then after going through the CIP with Brian, I think Tilson should be one that we go visit,
Yeah,
and just hopefully by then, possibly Jeff will be done with that swing and we can check that out, and then, we can,
yeah, and then some of the roofs that we just talked about,
we can do the Walton to look at the roof if you wanted.
yeah, but I thought, like Guthrie, to see that picnic shelter roofing.
We can do that, but that's slated out for 2022, but we can still make that tour.
So you want to do that later on,
I think when we get closer, unless you want to go there, I'm open.
I don't know. I was just trying to, the ones that we just talked about are definitely ones that I think we need to,
I think we need to visit the ones in 2021
okay,
stuff, and then maybe next year we can, at the end of next year, we can look at 2022 stuff and go out and tour
Okay.
those.
maybe
Unless you
in
wanna
the
stick-
spring or something.
Yeah. So we got Tilson, Walton, and that's a no. Do we want to go look at the trail?
Yeah,
That's, yeah, to the south trail. So do you know which section you would start with then, Brian?
It would be the one from Granada to the Discovery Center.
We do that nice walk. Make those 3 our hit, if you want.
So you're saying Tilson, Oakdale,
Walton, Tilson, and
and Walton.
the Oakdale Park Trail from Granada to Discovery.
So we should start furthest north or the furthest south, and then,
Probably, well, we could go to the Discovery Center, and I don't think we have to walk that far and actually hit every square
Okay.
mile of it, but go to the Discovery Center and walk our way out,
okay.
go as far as we want to go, and then turn around.
I'll bring the dog.
Hmm?
I said I'll bring the dog.
So we got October 3rd, 4th, 17th, or 18th.
And the 3rd and 4th are Saturday, and then Sunday, and then 17th. And
Saturday and Sunday. They're both, if you want to do a
I-
weeknight one.
I say the earlier the better, before it gets too cold and, unless, yeah, if there's an evening too, we should do that before it gets dark.
Do you guys want to do weekends or weeknights? Do you have a preference?
It's all kind of chaotic at my house, so I'll just try to make it work.
Glenn?
Yeah, any.
Steve?
Sundays work.
Sundays? Figure about 1. Will Sunday work?
October 4th?
Do you want to do October 4th sooner?
Yeah, I'd like that a lot better, just because MEA weekend, if people want to go out of town.
1 o'clock?
Yep.
All right. Meet at Discovery Center.
Unless it's like horribly raining or
Right.
something.
I think we have to post that, right, Julie? Yep. All right, so we'll plan that. And then if that alters, we'll come up with a new date. I'll send out an email to remind you guys. All right, anything else? Then we'll go on to Mr. Kuzling.
So, good evening. Brian sort of touched on 3 things I was going to talk about. So the Tilson swing set, we got up there last Tuesday, started to install the wall. We have 12 feet left. I have to leave access for them to get in and out. They got to drill footings and do concrete to set the swings. And then we'll finish the wall. It'll take us quarter a day to get in there and do that. And then we'll have to black dirt around the outside and seed mat it on the south and the west side of it to just bring it up to grade a little bit, so, and put some drain tile in. I'm not gonna pre-install it because it'll be where the swings are gonna go and it'll drill through it, so.
Yeah.
I'll wait on that, and then, obviously, the Walton Hockey Rink, I just need the contractor to get the irrigation system up and running. It's all repaired. Something with the control box, they wanted me to do it. It worked before they tore it out. They put it back in, it doesn't work. They're gonna fix it, so. I'm waiting for them. They seeded it. I want to get that seed going. We're getting a little late in the year, so. And then the softball complex, we took 4 out of the 8 bleachers out of there today, moved them. We moved them to the north side in between fields 3 and 4, and they'll do the other 4 right away in the morning. So they're out of the way for them to come in and start doing the fencing work, and we'll get all the valves and irrigation marked in there where the fencing is, so they don't hit that, hopefully. And then we're just working on mowing and field prep. We laid out 3 or 4 soccer fields yesterday and a flag football field over at Walton for the sports for OA. I think that's it. That's all we have left. I haven't heard of any more as far as soccer or football. So I know there's no contact football. So flag-wise, they were just
Are
using.
they going
Walton.
into Birth Field for flag?
I have not had a request. They usually do.
Yeah, I
But
think they're gonna stick up here, but I thought I might have heard
let me know before the day they say they have a game.
I think they're thinking about
'Cause that's what-
soccer down on Birth Field.
That's what's been happening. I'm getting emails like, yeah, we have a game tomorrow. Well, there's no field there because I don't know about it.
Is
So,
Eric relaying anything, or is it the directors calling you?
He is, but it's like they need it today. It's not gonna happen with I have 5 people.
Yep, no.
So we gotta do what we gotta do. So we've tried to work with them, been sort of patient, but it's been poor communication towards us, so needs to get better. We need to know as far in advance as we can, because we got other things going on, so. And then goose irrigation, sort of a weird thing. I get a call last Monday night or Tuesday night, 10:30, car, drunk driver through the parking lot up into the field, just completely demolished the whole valve box system, the green
Where is it
box.
at?
Goose Pond.
Really?
Took the whole thing out, the main, everything. It was like a movie, water shooting up. He ended up over in the church fence where their little garden is over there, so.
Wow.
I said, "Did you catch him?" And they said, "He's right over there." I just thought maybe someone drove through there and hit it and, So I've got Peterson Company looking at that. We got to get that repaired because we have to be able to winterize it, so. Other than that, we're plugging along. It's been nice weather, but I'm anxious to get that swing set done. Talked to Minnesota, Wisconsin Playground Thursday, and then I talked to him yesterday. It's not a big install. It'll take him a day to really come in and set it.
Okay.
And then it'll have to sit a couple days, then we can put all the swings on and then getting the mulch installed, so. The wall turned out nice. It'll look good up there. It'll be a good project, so.
Cool.
Guy had some good feedback from the neighbors that were there. So, other than that,
Did we get a visit from the one family?
no. No, didn't see them, so. Not when I was there anyway, so.
Okay.
Other than that, any questions for me?
Any questions?
After that?
I've got one. While you were on vacation, there was an issue with the scoreboard
Yeah.
at Berthfield. And as they troubleshooted everything, it came down to the communication between the score panel and the control box.
Okay, so
And I don't know
when
where
Max installed it, the day I was there, we hooked it up. We used it up and down numbers, so I don't know.
it was his first
Is
time
it
plugging it in down there, and your guys were down there testing it. Actually, Chris went on his lunch break to meet him down there to double check that he's setting it up correctly. And they said still there's no communication between
Yeah,
that plug and the board.
'Cause
So I don't know if
I wonder if there's something in the software that needs, I don't know. It worked. We had it, we plugged it in and worked it.
I just didn't know if we were moving forward with anyone checking on that, or if
I
should
thought it was
OA
completed. According to my crew, they were down there, they had an electrician down there, and I thought I have
Yeah,
heard
they
no
got
more
it
about
powered
it.
up and everything, but I
Okay,
think the
yeah,
communication.
I've heard no
between-
more about it.
No, I still think it's not working.
Okay,
But
yeah, I
I can
didn't know
check
that.
with my guy too.
Okay. All right, we'll figure that out. Have them look at it. Okay.
All
Any
right,
questions?
thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Julie?
Thanks, Commission. I do have a few updates for September. Just to update the blood drive that we did in August. Very successful. We had 70 registered donors with 67 units collected. So their goal was 61, so they did very well. We've went and added a new date, which will be October 27th, and that'll be from 10 to 4. So if you're interested, you can sign up through the Red Cross once again. So happy to have them back in October. Farmers Market winded down for the season. The last date is September 30th. KCM Egg Rolls will be there tomorrow, along with the Mexican food truck as well. So if you want to try something new, they'll be there for the second time this season. And also the vendors are really commenting that this has been one of the busiest seasons they've ever had. So that's good to hear and good to see. So they're really happy about all the shoppers this year. So good to see that.
Some great produce and everything.
Yeah. Definitely. The Discovery Center update, we have resumed our loan program, so that was halted once COVID hit, but we are back to resuming the loan program, tandem bikes, the scavenger hunt, our book swap, our Nordic walking poles, and our Discovery backpacks are once again available for people who stop into the Discovery Center. And the display room has reopened as well with modifications, obviously, so good to see that up and running again as well. The Walton Hockey Rink. So the new Walton Hockey Rink will be available for rent between the hours of 8 and 10, Monday through Friday, and 8 to 12 on weekends during the skating season. So that's after hours during the week and before hours, skate on the weekends. Cost is $40 an hour, and if anybody's interested, please contact Nathan Timmons in our department. So we're getting the information out to Taha and anybody else who may want to rent that as well. So that was in our newsletter, upcoming here for fall and winter. Flu shot clinic, Wellness 50 Plus Group is partnering with Walgreens to bring a flu shot clinic to the Discovery Center. That'll be no cost with most insurance, and registration is required through our department. And finally, our canceled spring cleanup has been rescheduled for October. So we're gonna shoot for that October 5th through the 9th. If anybody's interested in cleaning up a park, give us a call at the Recreation Department and we can get you set up and ready to go for that. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's all I have. I'll stand for any questions that anyone may have or comments. Anything to
I
share?
got one question.
Yeah,
Regarding renting out the Walton rink,
yes,
I know Teha was in here asking
Yes.
about it.
yep.
I'd heard rumor also that they were looking at East Side and Northdale. Is that gonna be an option for them too?
I haven't heard that directly from them, but we're playing phone tag, but I plan to speak with them tomorrow, but we could certainly work with them on that. Yeah. Definitely.
That's all I got. Anyone?
Can I just have some, for park cleanup, is it like trash pickup or what? If I wanted to share out about it, I want to.
So just anything that has accumulated in the parks, trash, anything that should be picked and cleaned up.
Okay,
Yeah.
And are they going to supply the trash bags?
Yep, so we always supply everything you need, the trash bags, that type of thing. Everybody gets a kind of a thank you gift for participating. So once we get that all situated and everyone signed up, then they'll have a certain time they can come up to the Discovery Center and pick those things up.
okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Anything
Yeah, you're
else?
welcome.
All right. I see we have a guest in the audience. Did you want to talk tonight?
Oh, I got nothing.
You got nothing? All right. Commissioners, you guys got anything? No? No? Then just look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion that.
I'll second.
Jen, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a great night, everybody.